Hello, good morning, students. Please subscribe the channel, drop a like, share, and comment. This is Shree Vishnu Art Press Publications. Exercise number 1 and 2 on the speed of 90 words per minute. Start. Learned Counsel for the District Cooperative Banks, however, submitted that the Reserve Bank of India must assure that the entire amount offered by the district cooperative banks for exchange after due verification in the form of demonetized notes will be duly replaced by commensurate amount of legal tender notes contemporaneously. The learned Attorney General on instructions submitted that the policy of replacement of legal tender notes as applicable to public sector banks and other banks will be applied even in the case of district cooperative banks for exchange of demonetized currency with the legal tender currency. We accept the assurance given by the learned Attorney General in this behalf. The other broad point was about extending the time limit for exemption for use of demonetized currency notes of rupees 500 and rupees 1000 at specified counters as per the relevant notifications issued in that behalf by the Reserve Bank of India. It was contended that the exemption period provided in the concerned notification is expiring. Hence, it will not be possible to deposit the demonetized notes at specified counters thereafter, even in case of emergency situation like hospitalization, travel by railway or air, etc. In our opinion, whether the exemption period should be extended or not must be best left to the judgment of the government of the day, with a hope that the government will be responsive and sensitive to the problems encountered by the common man. Accordingly, we decline to issue any interim direction to the government in the matter of extending the period of exemption and leave it open to the government to take appropriate decision in that behalf as may be advised. The other serious grievance made by the petitioners is about the denial of right to withdraw the prescribed amount of rupees 24,000 per week per account holder in spite of notification issued by the Reserve Bank of India permitting such withdrawal. It was submitted that if the government has issued such notification after due consideration, it is obliged to ensure that its commitment made under the said notification is implemented without any exception. The ground reality, however, contends learned counsel, is that the banks are refusing to pay full amount of rupees 24,000 per account holder per week on the ground of non-availability of enough volume of legal tender currency. According to the learned Attorney General, the government has already made it imply clear that it would take around 50 days time to streamline the cash flow. That period is still not exhausted. He submits that as of now the Reserve Bank of India has been able to infuse around rupees 5 lakh of the new legal tender notes in the form of rupees 500 and rupees 2000. That is almost over 40% of the amount of demonetized notes already deposited with the banks. Further, the authorities are working to the best of their ability to diffuse the crisis of cash flow situation by printing new notes. By no means it is suggested that whenever such charge of rape is made where the victim is a child, it has to be treated as a gospel truth and the accused person has to be convicted. We have already discussed above the manner in which testimony of the prosecutrix is to be examined and analyzed in order to find out the truth therein and to ensure that deposition of the victim is trustworthy. At the same time, after taking all due precautions which are necessary, when it is found that the prosecution version is worth believing, the case is to be dealt with all sensitivity that is needed in such cases. In such a situation, one has to take stock of the realities of life as well. Various studies show that in more than 80% cases of such abuses, perpetrators have acquaintance with the victims who are not strangers. The danger is more within than outside. Most of the time, acquaintance rapes, when the culprit is a family member, are not even reported for various reasons not difficult to fathom. The strongest among those is the fear of attracting social stigma, another deterring factor which many times prevent such victims or their families to lodge a complaint is that they find whole process of criminal justice system extremely intimidating, coupled with absence of victim protection mechanism. Therefore, time is ripe to bring about significant reforms in the criminal justice system as well. Equally, there is also a dire need to have a survivor centric approach towards victims of sexual violence, particularly the children, keeping in view the traumatic, long lasting effects on such victims. After thorough analysis of all relevant and attendant factors, we are of the opinion that none of the grounds on which the High Court has cleared the respondent has any merit. By now, it is well settled that the testimony of a victim in cases of sexual offenses is vital, and unless there are compelling reasons which necessitate looking for corroboration of a statement, the courts should find no difficulty to act on the testimony of the victim of a sexual assault alone to convict the accused. No doubt, her testimony has to inspire confidence. Seeking corroboration to a statement before relying upon the same as a rule in such cases would literally amount to adding insult to injury. The deposition of the prosecutrix has, thus, to be taken as a whole. Needless to reiterate that the victim of rape is not an accomplice and her evidence can be acted upon without corroboration. She stands at a higher pedestal than an injured witness does. If the court finds it difficult to accept her version, it may seek corroboration from some evidence which lends assurance to her version. To insist on corroboration, except in the rarest of rare cases, is to equate one who is a victim of the lust of another with an accomplice to a crime and thereby insult womanhood.